Hey friends, my name is Essence from Team GCM. I'm a chemist and I love food. And today I'm going to be teaching you the chemistry behind making bread. Now, bread is one of my favorite holiday treats. As we get ready to start Thanksgiving or maybe any other holiday that you might be celebrating, I cannot have my meal without some bread rolls. So we are going to make some bread rolls today. But as I started to get my materials together, I realized that there is a lot of chemistry involved in making bread. See, in chemistry, we study what things are made up of and what happens when you mix some things together. Now, anything that you mix together, there are about three basic things that will happen. You can try mixing two things together, and for whatever reason, they won't mix. You can see this in oil and water. Because oil is nonpolar and water is polar, they won't mix, no matter how many times you try to stir them. The second thing that can happen is you mix things together and they mix really well. They kind of blend into each other. You can see this if I add some food coloring to water. They mix together really well. But in chemistry, what I love to see is when you mix two things together and those things create something brand new. This is what we call in chemistry a chemical reaction. So I have all of these ingredients. Bread is made up of yeast, oil, flour, sugar, salt, and water. All of those things by themselves are really not a lot like bread, right? But when you add them together and add heat to them, a chemical reaction starts where you've created something brand new. Something that's not like these ingredients individually. So let's get started making bread and I'll tell you the chemistry as we go along. Now, this is a kid-friendly recipe, so as long as you have your grown-up, you'll be able to do this at home. You'll only need a couple ingredients: yeast, oil, sugar, flour, water, salt, and a plastic baggie. Because this is my special bread in a bag recipe. Perfect for kids. All right, let's get cooking, or let's get experimenting. Inside a large bowl, fill your plastic bag with 1 cup of flour and 3 tablespoons of sugar. In a separate container, add 1 packet of yeast to 1 cup of warm water. The yeast in your packet is dried out, so it can be preserved until you're ready to use it. So we need to wake it up by dissolving it in warm water. Make sure your water is warm, not hot. If it's too hot, it could kill the yeast. Now, yeast is a microscopic fungus that eats sugar. When it eats sugar, it releases air, or carbon dioxide to be exact. So when the yeast mixes with the flour and the sugar, it starts to eat the sugar and it releases carbon dioxide. Yeast is essential to making bread because carbon dioxide allows bread to be light and fluffy. If you've ever cut into bread, you've seen all those holes that used to be filled with carbon dioxide while the bread was baking. These holes help the bread rise. Otherwise, you might have a flat bread, which can be fine in some cases if you wanted to make pita. But today, we want to make traditional, light, fluffy, risen bread. Now you will need to mix your ingredients together. This is the fun step. The flour will create the main structure of your bread. It's the thing that holds everything else together. Now we will let the dough sit for 10 to 15 minutes. This will allow the air to build up inside the yeast as it's getting to work, eating the sugar and pumping out carbon dioxide into our dough. Okay, check this out. So you can see all of these bubbles here are filled with carbon dioxide or air. That's going to be really helpful for our bread. All right, let's move on to the next step. Now we will add 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 3 teaspoons of oil, and 1 cup of flour to the dough. Salt is added for taste, but it helps our chemical reaction in another way too. As the flour and water is mixed together, salt helps the flour molecules bind and stick to each other. This makes the bread stronger, so it can hold the air inside it better. Mix the ingredients in the bag and then add 1 more cup of flour to the bag. Seal it and mix it again. By this time, you should have added 3 cups of flour to your dough. Now you'll need to get the dough out of the bag. This is going to be kind of messy. As you're getting the dough out of the bag, you'll want to scrape the dough out onto a cutting board that has flour on the surface. If your dough is sticking to the cutting board, then you can add some more flour. Knead the dough for 10 minutes. Add flour if your dough is getting too sticky. Now we will let the yeast do the remainder of its work, pumping more carbon dioxide into the bread. We'll let the bread rest for 30 minutes. While you wait, you can preheat your oven to 375 degrees or clean up your kitchen. Now remember, we said that making bread is a chemical reaction. When we mix our ingredients, they make something completely new. So far, we don't have bread, just moist flour. Adding heat will complete this chemical reaction. Add oil to your pan. If you're making a whole loaf, use a bread pan. If you're making rolls like me, you can break your dough into balls and place them on a baking sheet. Bake your bread for 25 minutes or until golden brown. All right, my rolls are fresh out of the oven. I'm gonna cut into one. I really like to eat my rolls with butter, and let's see how they taste.
It's nice and soft. Look at
It's soft and warm and buttery. If you like sweet rolls, you might want to add some honey to your batter or a little bit more sugar, but this is really good.